Is Michael Perfetti, and I am a regional director with the Strategic Early Warning Network for Layoff Aversion, also known as SEWN, in the Steel Valley Authority. I think that we can all agree that cash flow is the most important thing to a business. Nothing gets done without it. There's no getting around it. From the time you buy raw materials to selling goods and receiving money, it can last, that cycle alone can last weeks or even months. Since many of the cases that we work on here, unfortunately, arrive in some advanced stages where time is of the essence. Today, I wanted to cover 8 strategies that you can leverage to generate some quick cash flow in the near term. So let's start. Number 1. Immediately eliminate all costs unrelated to necessary variable and fixed costs required to run a business. If these costs aren't effectively contributing to operating activity, they should be stopped immediately. Number 2, go to your customer relationships. Ask customers for a cash down payment on orders or negotiate a progress payment schedule throughout a manufacturing process. They want the product. I think it would be an easy ask. You have a relationship there. I think it's the next logical progression. Number 3, and still in the realm of customer relationships, is to collect on outstanding accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is one of the fastest and easiest ways to get the cash you need for growth. By speeding up collections, you can start capitalizing on your accounts receivable. Sometimes prompt pay discounts are utilized to help with this process. The size and frequency of those discounts would be determined by the nature of the customer relationship. And as long as we're on the subject of customer relationships, you should take some time to evaluate your credit process in terms. Consider shortening payment terms on future billings. Instead of maybe net 30, 45, and 60, maybe offer net 10, 15, or 20. Stay on top of your accounts receivable. Don't let them age beyond the agreed to terms. If you're cash strapped, you really can't afford to be someone else's bank. Number 4, consider factoring as a resource to fill some gaps in cash flow. Now, this isn't an infomercial for factoring, but it's something you have to consider. I know a lot of people have a hard time getting over a negative connotation, but if you take the time to understand the product and it's used properly and responsibly, it can be a powerful tool. It is not financing. It's the sale of an asset for immediate cash. There's no long-term credit process. There's no pledge of business assets, no personal guarantee or extensive business audit. Just the cash you need within 24 hours. It's very transactional and can be done on an invoice-by-invoice basis whenever you need it. As far as the expense associated with this type of product, the expense should be offset through whatever opportunity you're filling with the proceeds. The cost can also be absorbed by taking advantage of available supplier prompt pay discounts, along with the ability to better manage raw material purchases. And it's also less expensive than not paying your payroll taxes. So additionally, in the factoring world, it's become very competitive from a cost standpoint. There's an awful lot of players out there vying for your attention, and the costs of funds are relatively low. So I would say it's a buyer's market in that regard. Number 5, review your vendor relationships and see where you might be able to delay some payments and restructure payment terms. If you have some concentrations with some vendors, maybe even consider spreading some of the business out among multiple vendors if possible. That way you can sort of manipulate your payments a little bit better and maybe put some of that cash to work fueling the business. Number 6, discount slow-moving and obsolete raw material and finished good inventory for quick cash. If it's sitting on the shelf it's not doing anything for you. You can monetize it, put it to work, make money with that money instead of it sitting on your shelf. Number 7, and still in the same regard, look at the assets that you have in storage. If they're not being utilized or won't be utilized anytime in the near future, you should look at monetizing those as well and putting that money back to work. Number 8, and something that everyone's a little bit apprehensive to do would be to increase your prices. So now would be a good time to determine if you're actually generating enough revenue to cover your expenses. Do a price and gross profit margin check. Are you covering your fixed and variable costs? Are some expenses too high? Do an inventory assessment. There may be some costs buried there that you aren't aware of, particularly if you don't have an actual inventory system, an inventory management or control system in place. So that's our 8 strategies for today. Hopefully they will help you solve your problem in the short term. Additionally, it's imperative that a business develop a cash flow forecast that is consistently being measured against actual performance. Looking ahead will allow you to be proactive about managing cash instead of being reactive. Cash flow issues, they don't develop overnight. So having a forecast in place will help you avoid some of the strategies mentioned today and make for a healthy and profitable business. And as always, if you'd like to talk further about your business and the challenges you currently face, please give us a call. We're here to help. Again, I'm Mike Perfetti with SEWN and the Steel Valley Authority, and thank you for your time today.